Hello, welcome to my channel, Craft with Barbara Drake. Today we are making a card called a center panel pop-out card. And I used the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set and dies and the Irresistible Blooms stamp set. As you can see, it folds very easily and will fit right into an A2 size envelope. This is the stamp set that I use, the leaves, the Irresistible Blooms. It is a cling stamp set. And the Butterfly Brilliance stamp set. This is a cling stamp set, and those are the Brilliant Wings dies. The stamp set, actually, all the stamps come together as one, and I cut my cling stamps so they would all be separate. Now the dies, I used those 3 butterflies for the outside, and then the die on the left is one whole die, so they all cut out. They'll all cut out at the same time, and I use the gold and rose gold 6x6 metallic specialty paper. The paper is a little heavier than regular designer series paper, so when you put it through your die cutting machine, I had to run it through a couple times. And then you just pick out the ones that you want. On the card that I'm making today, I used the rose gold. And the cardstock that I'm using is the Hello Irresistible 6x6, which is one of the online exclusives that started on March 1st that you can purchase. I use that for the panels. And the colors in it are Daffodil Delight, Flirty Flamingo, Lost Lagoon, Petal Pink, Pretty Peacock, and Soft Seafoam. So Pretty Peacock was a retired color that they are bringing back starting in the annual catalog. This is a piece of 8.5 by 5.5. And these are the measurements that you'll be using. You're going to score at 2 inches, 3 1/8, 5 3/8, and 6.5. And then your pattern paper you're going to need for the 2 side pieces. There's 1 3/4 by 5 1/4, and the center is 2 inches by 5 1/4. I'll go over those measurements again. This is a piece of Lost Lagoon. So when you fold it, I had a little trouble there with that score line. I'm doing a voiceover, by the way, if you can't tell. So what we're doing is doing a mountain fold and then a valley fold so that center panel will pop out. Now you may want to leave it flat to put your cardstock on. It might be easier to do that first. Now that's a piece of Daffodil Delight, and I made a layer for that to go on. And the Daffodil Delight is 7 7/8 of an inch wide by 5 1/4. And then the designer series paper is 3/4 by 5 1/8. And I think I must have measured wrong because I'm going to take some scissors there and cut that down a little bit. I thought I had it at 5 1/8, but I guess I didn't. You can use liquid glue to or the adhesive of your choice to get those side pieces down. Now some people do not even use those pieces there in the corners. They just leave the cardstock showing. The cardstock, the Hello Irresistible 6x6, I just used the front on the two side panels, and what you see right there on the Daffodil Delight is the back of the cardstock. I like the yellow coming through. It almost looked like a sun once the butterflies get on there. I'm going to speed up the video because you're just going to see me here get those designer series paper attached to the card. Okay, now time for the butterflies. I use the Fancy Flora cardstock, or the DSP, on the two smaller butterflies, and on the larger butterfly I just used one of the Hello Irresistible, the darker one of the backs of the designer series paper. Now to get the butterflies on there, because the background there, that rose gold, is a specialty paper, I'm not so sure how well liquid glue would stick to it. So I'm using my glue dots, and I'm just kind of rolling it up, and I need tweezers to get that attached on there. And I'm just putting it down in the center of the butterfly, of all the butterflies. So again, I take my finger in a minute, and I just it's easier to roll with your finger and then get it down onto the center of the butterflies. So I'm going to speed this part up and get that attached there to the base. And that's the only part I'm putting glue on, is the body, because then you can just lift those wings up like that. And those glue dots are extremely strong, so I know it will stay on there. Now I'm using tear and tape to get the butterflies attached to that center panel. I didn't want to take a chance with liquid glue, so I'm using tear and tape because that is a very strong adhesive. And I'm going to put that on the back of all three of the butterflies. Now I'm just kind of gauging where I want to put that. And again, you may want to just leave your paper after you score your cardstock, your base. You may just want to not do the folds in it until you're completely done. That's up to you. And then your sentiment will go in the back, in the center panel on the back, and it's just it's up there on the right hand side. It's a 2" by 5 1/4, and I use the leaves from the Irresistible Blooms. I use Soft Succulent and just stamp those down on the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to just go ahead and get that middle butterfly down, and then I'm going to figure out where do I want to put the sentiment. The Hello is from the Beauty of Friendship stamp set. I used white embossing powder on that, and the die that I cut out for that is from the Stylish Shapes dies. The other card I made, I put the sentiment down towards the bottom. This one I'm leaving up to the top, which I probably should have left there on the bottom. But the other card I'll show you in a minute, I made the sentiment just a little bit shorter with the die. I had to put the die in the second time and then just get that one end cut off, and you'll see the difference when I get the other card up on the screen. And it's okay if it hangs off the side, because once you stand the card up, it's not attached to that back there. There you go. And there goes this panel, and that's where you can write your sentiment. Or not your sentiment, but your kind words. And what's nice about, I like this kind of a card, because it stands up, and you can, you know, the recipient can just keep it up, you know, to view it. They want to put it on their mantle or on their shelf. And again, that card there, I was using the Lost Lagoon for the card base, and I'm using a little bit of Wink of Stella here on the body of the butterfly. And I'm going to pull the other card in here side by side, and that was using the Pretty Peacock, the darker one. All the measurements are going to be on my blog there up at the top, Crafts with Barbara Drake at blogspot.com. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and you're interested in any of the products, I would appreciate your business. And my shop there is at barbaradrakeStampinUp.net. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Bye.